Howdy dooski. I keep forgetting I've got one of those little fancy buttons you can just hit and it turns this on. That way you quit seeing my big finger pointing at you. Maybe I'll remember one of these days. We are at chapter 40 of Genesis. We left off, Joseph had just been Potiphar's old lady accused him falsely and had him thrown in prison, right? But the Lord put him over even the people in the prison, it says. God always remembers him. It says, and it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. So they put them down there with Joseph. It says, the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them. And he served them, and they continued a season in the ward. So they weren't there very long, just a season. And it says, they dreamed a dream, both of them. All right, here comes Joseph's dreams again. What's really, he's not dreaming these dreams, he's interpreting dreams. And that's going to play a role on down the line for Joseph. But listen to it here. It says, the butler and the baker, it says, they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night. Each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. He says, he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of the Lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches. And it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. That's what he used to do. He was the butler and the cupbearer. You seen all of them old movies with medieval kings sitting on their throne. They've always got that guy that brings them a big cup of wine. That's what we got going on here. He says, and Joseph says unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. And there's a reason for these 3 days. We're going to find out soon. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head and restore you to your place, and you shall deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when you was his butler. But think on me, listen to this, think on me, Joseph says, when it be well with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. Remember me, he says. Now when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he says to Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof, the 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat of the flesh from off of you. I believe I told him to keep that one, wouldn't you? But it happens. Here it is. And it came to pass the 3rd day. Here's the reason for the 3 days. This was Pharaoh's birthday. That's why he's going to, do what he does. Have a big feast and whatnot. It says it's Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief butler to his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand, just like Joseph said, didn't he? But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. You get that a lot in life, don't you? Maybe you got somebody that you're real tight with, and you're down the foxhole with them, and, looking out for one another, but the second one of them gets away, they kind of forget about you sometimes, don't they? That's what happened here. The butler forgot Joseph, even after all that. But thanks be to God, the Lord remembered him, didn't he? And that's it for chapter 40. Tune in tomorrow and we'll try 41. It keeps getting better. God bless you.